So this whole install has been done by the customer's ex-husband. So we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's been done. How are you doing, everyone? Welcome back to today's video. Thanks for tuning in and taking the time on your Sunday evenings to watch my videos. So first and foremost, I hit 9K yesterday, which was absolutely amazing. Didn't expect to hit it so soon. It feels like literally only last week or a little while ago that I hit 8K, and 9K came around like that, which is absolutely fantastic. So thanks to everyone who's been watching, liking, subscribing, and just supporting the channel. Honestly, couldn't have done it without you guys. So please keep doing what you're doing, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Now, let's get on to today's video. So it's just one job, but it's a really interesting one. If you guys enjoy wiring fault finding, or if there's people out there who struggle with wiring and how to trace back wiring faults and this, that, this video will probably help you out a fair bit. It's just how I trace back my wiring faults. Everyone's got their own method, but this is just how I've done it. The whole job was basically a bodge from start to finish. Still don't know exactly how it's been installed and how it's meant to be working. I've kind of got an idea of how it's meant to be working. I got things working in the end, but it's just the way that things have been done. It's not how it should be done. But nevertheless, found what the problem. There were multiple faults on this system. They've all been rectified as far as I can tell, and everything's working. Not had a call back from the customer. So yeah, happy days. Enjoy the video. And as always, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys all on the next one. Have a good one. Cheers. Right, me and Josh are at this next one. So he was here a couple of days ago. Go on, fill him in.
Basically, no heat, no hot water. Come here, had some few surprises because you're normally how an S-plan system works is two ports, but there's only one on it. I was trying to understand how the system actually worked, but off the flow, there's just a T, and it just works as in no matter whether it's fired for hot water, the rads will always get hot, and they just turn them on by the rad valves. So just trying to get to the bottom of exactly how the system works and get it back up and running again.
Right, so this is the zone valve. That's the problem. Well, don't know if it's the problem or not, but basically there's only one zone valve here which feeds the hot water cylinder here. But then just before it, it tees down. So this whole install has been done by the customer's ex-husband. So we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's been done. Flue's not screwed, at risk. But that's the least of our problems at the moment. Oh, he's calling me. Oh, I'll call him back after. So it looks like the way that they've got it set up at the moment is to run the heating, they have to have the hot water on, and they just open and close the TRVs or the rad valves to get heat to those radiators. Josh was saying there was issues with the zone valve where it wasn't actually motoring over. So we're gonna test the programmer first to see if that's then sending power to that, because you weren't getting power on the brown, were you? You said
no, either hot water or heat.
Right. So for the heating, there wouldn't be. I'm guessing the heating would be wired straight into. That doesn't make sense. Why is there a thermostat for the heating if there's no zone valve?
How's that wired in, yeah?
Unless that's wired straight into the switch live, so that even with the hot water off, when they fire the heating, it can still go down to the heating circuit. That might be that. But first things first, we want to test the programmer, and we want to see if that's sending power to the brown via the thermostats to get this 2-port to motor over. If we're getting brown to it, power on the brown, and that's not motoring over, then we can either change this or change the synchron motor in this. If not, we need to check with demands on here. If we're not getting power to the brown, then that's going to be the first point of call, because you checked on this as well, didn't you? The stat, so cylinder stats in here. So we need to check. You weren't getting power to the common either, were you, with the hot water on?
I don't think so, if I remember correctly.
All right, so let's start with that. So we're going to start by testing the cylinder stat here, seeing if we've got power going to the common. If we do, then we'll try and turn it up to see if it clicks and sends power to the switch live. If that then sends power to the switch live, we want to check here to see if we've got power to the brown for the zone valve. If that motors over, then we're good. If it doesn't, then we'll just basically work our way backwards and see what the fault is. Right, so we've got our common there. We've got demand for hot water. So let's see, to the earth, and then number 1. Right, so we've got nothing on there at the moment, but we have power on the switch live. That does make sense. We've got 230 on the switch live, but we've got nothing on the common, on the common, yeah. How's that working? That doesn't make sense.
Okay, it's not the immersion one, is it?
No. That's the cylinder stack. Because look, that's the cylinder stack wire there. So we've got power on 2, but we've got nothing on 1, and we should have power on 1 in order for No, that's our common. So that if this is on, right, if we turn the hot water off. Right, okay. I think firstly, that's been wired back to front.
But this is one of them systems. Yeah, it's always worked.
Yeah.
You don't know how.
No. Okay, so let's start with that first. Let's check in the wiring center and whether we need to switch it around here or whether we need to switch it around in the wiring center. Okay, so I've managed to get the programmer faceplate off, and we've got the blue, which is our hot water on. Grey is our heating on. So there's going to be a bit of shadow. Let's see if I can pop that there somewhere. Okay. Right, so we've got blue, hot water on, grey, heating on. Trace that down to the wiring center here. So that's our blue, which is our hot water on. And that I can see in here, the bottom, is going to the other blue, which is this cable going to the cylinder stack in there. So firstly, that's been put on the wrong way around. So I'm going to switch these 2 around first, and then we will retest it again to see if it makes any difference to that zone valve motoring over or not. Okay, so I'll switch the blue and the brown round there, and I've also traced that back here because that brown, which is that one there, I can see that's linked to this brown here, which is the brown going to that zone valve. So now I'm going to put the faceplate back on, put the power back on, and we're going to see if we are now getting power to that zone valve, and if it motors over and fires the boiler. That'll be step 1. Okay, that's on. So now let's put, what's the boiler doing? No, there's no demand there at the moment, which is fine. Let's put hot water on. Now that's got demand, but that zone valve still hasn't motored over. So I think that demand is coming from the stat.
Oh, sorry.
Turn that stat down for a minute. I want to see if that kills the power.
Oh, yeah. Let me turn it down.
Yeah. Yes, there's another room stat downstairs, which I think is just wired straight into the switch live. Yeah, it must be, because I can see there's multiple wires coming in from here. That's going to that. Let's just see. That's right. All right, so we've still got demand here. Unless, right, turn the hot water off here, turn the heating off. And then what does that do to that? There's still a demand on there, but that zone valve's still not motored over. Right, let's have a look, see what we've got on the switch live here. So let's just put earth, and so we've still got 230 on the switch live. That could be from the underfloor heating as well, the programmer, because obviously that will need to be on to send power to this
Right, so then if I go and turn off that program.
Yeah, go and turn that programmer off, and then we'll see if that kills the power to the boiler. Oh, the boiler's, hang on, it's gone to S7 status code. Is that still, we've still got power? Yeah, we've still got power on the switch. Okay, so Josh is going to go and turn the underfloor heating off, and then we'll see if that kills the demand to the boiler. Right, so Josh has just killed the power to the underfloor heating stat, and that's stopped the demand at the boiler as well. So we'll just double check. Now we've got no demand on, so we should have nothing on the switch live. Yeah, so switch live is dead, which is fine. Now let's put the hot water on. That's clicked on. So now I should get power on number 1. Do the other way. Yep, got 230 there. Nothing on number 2. That might be because the cylinder stat might already be satisfied. This has been running all day and they've got the immersion on, so it doesn't click on or off. Okay, right, what we'll do, just to test the zone valve, I'm going to put a link between 1 and 2 just to force power to the zone valve so that we can test if the zone valve's working or not. Okay, so I've just taken them out and put them into a Wago, so that should now power up the whole thing. So let's power on. And now, is that zone valve motor over? Yes. I know you guys can't see it from here because it's at the back there, but that zone valve is motoring over. And the boiler's got demand S2. We need to go to S3 and S4. Cool, right, S4, burner on, zone valve's doing its thing. So, we know program is fine. We know zone valve's fine. Now, on this section here with the cylinder stat, we're not sure if it's not clicking over because it's just satisfied, or if the cylinder stat itself is faulty. So, and because they've got the immersion on all the time, let's turn that off because that's constantly heating that unnecessarily along with the cylinder stat. And now what we'll do is probably just run a hot tap to try and cool the cylinder down to see if that cylinder stat starts to click as it cools down. So I've been running the hot taps for a minute or a few minutes and it's now finally clicking. Don't know, you probably won't be able to hear it on camera, but I can prove it with my continuity testers. So 1 and 2, we have continuity, which means there's a call. If I turn this down, it's off. And now if I put that between 1 and 3, that's satisfied. So 1 and 2, that's calling. And if I turn the cylinder stat up now, there you go. Cool, so the cylinder stat's working, so I'm going to wire these back into where they're supposed to be. And then we'll test that that's working properly with the zone valve. And then we'll move on to the central heating side and see what that thermostat's controlling, because there's no zone valve here. Right, cylinder stat's been wired back in, so now let's put power on. So everything's come on. Zone valve is not motoring over yet because I've turned the cylinder stat down. I'm going to turn the cylinder stat up. Right, cylinder stat's clicked on. That zone valve, yep, is motoring over. We've got a demand for heating, well, a demand for heat on the boiler, which is going to be for the hot water. So now if I turn the hot water off, that's gone off. Zone valve's motored down, yep, demand's gone. Cool, right, so we've sussed out the hot water issue. Now let's do the heating. So that thermostat's turned down downstairs, isn't it, at the moment? On the landing. So I'm going to first just turn it on from here, the heating, because that heating grey goes down to here, which looks like that would then be going back to the thermostat common. Then that looks like it will be the cord coming back from it, which is onto that black wire. And where's that black wire going? That's just disappearing. Because in our switch live we've got this big grey wire here, which disappears into the back there. Got another grey wire here, which also disappears. And then we've got another grey wire here, which we don't know where it's going. So one of these is going to be going to the boiler. One of these is going to be going, I'm guessing, is coming from the underfloor heating manifold. And the third one, which should be the one for the heat demand. So, alright, let's just pop the heating on from here first. And let's see, does that do anything to here? No, boiler's still on S7. Let's see over here. So on that grey, I lost away, guys, fine. Right, so now we've got, let's put one on the earth prod there. We've got that grey coming from heating on. Try and feed. Yep, got 230 on there. Right, now if I just prove that is the heating wire, that's off. Cool. Right, so that is our heating. Now turn on that thermostat. So that's when that thermostat comes on, this should get power, if my assumptions are correct. If that's the switch live coming back from the thermostat. Yep, cool. Right, so we've confirmed which is our switch live cables from the room thermostat on the landing, but turning that on doesn't do anything to the boiler. The boiler is still sitting on S7. So where's that signal going to now? The only thing that makes sense to me is to move that switch live from the thermostat, that blue wire, in with the orange, so that then sends a switch live to the boiler for heating whenever they need heat. Because right now we've got heating on, central heating on, thermostat's turned up, boiler's not doing anything. I don't know where that black cable is going or what that's meant to be controlling, because there's no other zone valve here. So for me to do would be to move that over into the switch live, so that at least when they turn on the heating by itself, it will come on the boiler. And although it's not done properly, there's no zone valve here, at least it will then go to the radiators without them having to run the hot water. What do you think, Josh? Shall I do that?
Yeah, it's just that other zone valve downstairs, isn't there?
Yeah, that's for the underfloor.
Yeah.
So if I move this wiring over so that we've got that heating is then going to be controlled via that thermostat, and that will then send power directly to the boiler, because there's no zone valve for the heating. That should then get that to fire up. Yeah, so now we're on S30, because S7, I think it's pumped over on S30 is no heat demand. So let me move that wire over, and at least we can test that central heating works independently, because there's no zone valve. So because I don't want to mess around with the wiring center too much, I've just put a link between where that thermostat switch live comes in and back to the boiler switch live. So in case we ever need to, in case that black wire is doing something, I didn't want to move it over and then we don't know what's going on, we can't remember. So at least if I just put a link here, if we need to take it out, it's easier. So let's power that on. We've got the boiler back on. So now technically there should be a demand. Yep, S2. That should go to S1, then S3 and S4. Yep. Right, rectified, burners on. Cool, Josh, you want to go and turn that thermostat down, and then we'll just make sure that it kills the power to the boiler. That should go to S7, pump overrun. So that thermostat clicks off. Yep, S5. That's cool. That should go to S7. There we go, pump overrun. Perfect. So we sorted the hot water issue out. We sorted the central heating issue out. So now the hot water and the central heating can be controlled both independently. Now the last thing is the underfloor heating. So Josh, you want to go and turn the underfloor heating on, and I'll check that the boiler.
I'll turn on the program. I'll put a demand on.
Yeah. And we're going to see if we get a demand up here when he turns on the underfloor heating. Okay, so we've got nothing with the underfloor heating. Josh said that when he clicked on the programmer, it wasn't actually clicking, so maybe the relays are messed in it. So we'll go downstairs, put a bit of link wire in. Josh, does that programmer faceplate come off easy?
I'm downstairs. I should do. There's nothing obstructing it.
All right, cool. We'll go downstairs, put a link in between the the demand and the live, and come back up here and see if it causes the boiler to fire up. Right, so that's on, but zone valve here is still stiff, and when we, yeah, it's not clicking. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, right, we've got two options. We can either just open that one and swap it over, or we're going to go back upstairs, turn the power off, link it out, turn it back on.
I think that one's gone. I think the relay is gone.
Yeah, because it's not clicking. Should we just swap that over? One and three, yeah. Oh, 1 and 4. Okay, 1 and 4. That's fine. Cool. Right, let's pop that one on. Get the back plate off. Right. Now we have clicks. Look, now we've got power to this. So that was done. Zone valves motored open. Lovely. And I can hear and feel that pump moving. Sweet. Look, we've got power to the valves, to the pump, to the boiler.
I'm just going to run upstairs and make sure the boiler's right.
Yeah. Well, I'll come up with you as well. Say again?
Boiler's fired.
Boiler's fired. Yeah. Sweet. So, I think that's everything.
Yeah.
We sorted it. I told you I love wiring jobs. Wiring faults, I just need to sit down and zone in. And just the best way to get your head around these wiring faults is not to overcomplicate the situation. Start at the beginning. Programmer. Work your way from the programmer to each individual stat. That's the way I do it. And then we can find out. So there was a number of problems here. Cylinder stat was wired wrong. That heating, the central heating thermostat, I don't know what that was doing. And also we had a faulty single channel programmer for the underfloor heating. 3 problems, 3 resolutions, everything's back up and running. Happy days.